cheers to a great flight ahead.
Good morning, frequent flyers from a 7 a.m. Frankfurt am Main. Today I am flying on board Singapore Airlines across the Atlantic Ocean on their 5th Freedom flight between Frankfurt and New York. The 9 a.m. departure meant arriving at the airport while I am yet to be ready for the day ahead. Thankfully, I didn't have to wait long before I was issued my boarding pass at the priority counter. All else is aside, I do love the split-flap departure board at Frankfurt Airport. And after navigating through a rather rockier security area and parlours of duty-free shops, I was airside and steps away from some quiet haven. And that is my first stop of the day on the upper level of the terminal, the Air Canada Maple Leaf Lounge. This lounge has a surprisingly elegant decor, but is rather limited in footprint, given Frankfurt as a Star Alliance hub. I was eager to get some breakfast down my stomach so that I can properly start to film. However, it was to my dismay, despite the seemingly presentable buffet spread, that there were no sausages available or any types of legitimate protein aside from few slices of spam. These jars containing jam and dried fruit pieces are much more for hype than utility. I really couldn't stand a vegan breakfast, so after a glass of sparkling to bid farewell, I found myself at the Lufthansa Senator Lounge down the hallway. Given the tighter access restriction, the Senator Lounge is much more quiet than the airline's business class lounge. The buffet spread here, although seemingly catered by the same supplier, is much more extensive and, to my surprise, has a multiple selection of alcohol at 8 a.m. and, most importantly, some proper sausage. I guess it's wise to visit the German lounge when you're on their turf. The Senator Lounge of Frankfurt has unique interiors, including the paid spa facility, as well as Senator-branded furniture that is probably the closest you can get, although not quite, to the alleged 5-star ranking. Singapore Airlines operates numerous Fifth Freedom flights around the world, and the Frankfurt route is the intermediate stop of the airline's Airbus A380 service between Singapore and New York. The incoming aircraft landed just about an hour ago, and the boarding for the final leg is about to be commenced. Immediately after I joined the queue, an airport employee had a preposterous request of me to stop filming.
I'm filming the airport. I'm filming the airport, not the employee.
I mean, this is Germany, not North Korea, and I'm not even filming that employee in particular. I guess such employees are the root cause of the disastrous ground handlings at Frankfurt Airport.
Alpha behind.
Oh, okay, sure.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
After bidding farewell to the disastrous Frankfurt ground, I was greeted by some incredibly passionate crew at the boarding door, and it was ensued by my stroll all the way down to row 23. Singapore's new A380 interior features a rather vibrant colour tone that still has the airline's fleet-wide, hand-stitched full green leather seats. The center seats on this aircraft can be converted into a double bed, just like the suite further in the front. Although not as wide as the previous generation, the seat still offers ample storage spaces and lateral room for movement once seated. The seat itself is very thoughtfully designed, with a vanity mirror and reading light within arm's reach, a remote control for personal entertainment system, as well as a USB outlet on the desk. Slippers and headphones and health kit was later distributed in person.
I'll get the water bottle, please.
Absolutely. I'm going to open the menu, but I guess you have to tell me. I can't see it.
Around of chicken satay after takeoff. Would you like something to drink with that? Champagne?
That's a wonderful champagne.
Champagne?
And now let's return to theatre for my favourite safety video of all time.
Welcome aboard Singapore Airlines. As the safety equipment on this aircraft may differ from that on other aircraft, please give us your attention as we bring you through this important safety briefing and on a journey through Singapore. During takeoff and landing, ensure that your tray table is stowed away. Put the back of your seat upright. Attention. Refer to the safety card located in the seat pocket in front of you for more information. On behalf of Singapore Airlines, we hope you have a great time on board as well as in Singapore or anywhere else in the world we take you.
Westbound transatlantic flight usually takes longer than the opposite direction due to the wind condition, and in our case the flight time today is almost 8 hours in broad daylight, plenty of time to enjoy some proper meal and world-class hospitality. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Singapore Airlines only serves satay during daytime flights with full meal service. I didn't get this on the outbound when departing 9 PM from New York. It always amazes me how Singapore manages to make grilled chicken the absolute hallmark in the sky. At the time of my Singapore Airline flight, it was still running the COVID-era service procedure with wraps on certain dishes, and judging by that standard, I'd say the food is decent enough, especially when you consider that business class is not Singapore Airlines' top priority. With another 6 hours to go, I decided to use up the 100 megabytes of free Wi-Fi for business customers. But sometimes technology infrastructure really gets in the way. The same goes with the digital menu that Singapore was using throughout the pandemic. In my case, I wasn't able to open it even with a functional and up-to-date smartphone. I have no idea how aunties and uncles are able to live with this. Having had enough with the Wi-Fi, I decided to take a nap instead. Singapore Airlines business class bedding is rather flimsy. It is, however, perfectly fine for a daytime flight, but I certainly want something more substantial, both aesthetically and physically on a longer overnight flight. And Singapore Airlines' prevailing issue has always been the awkward position of the foot space, but it wouldn't be a problem if you can secure one of these bulkhead seats. Two hours later, I woke up to a cup of TWGT, my favourite portable tea leaf brand, and I decided to check out the in-flight entertainment system. Singapore's entertainment is very intuitive to use and does contain some content that I would happily make use of to accompany my meal. And speaking of meal, I was served a glass of iced Milo to kickstart the pre-landing service that occurred roughly 2 hours away from New York. The fried egg noodle with the prawn is rather cafeteria standard, but when you consider that most airlines does not offer a hot meal before landing on transatlantic flights, this is, regardless of the taste, a very good effort by Singapore Airlines. And of course, why would you expect anything if it's catered from Frankfurt? With a very nice seat for lounging purposes and decent beverages, it surely was a pleasant 8 hours on board the A380. Singapore's Fifth Freedom flight between New York and Frankfurt has been around for a very long time, and I believe it still remains the best business class for crossing the Atlantic, especially when you consider the added nostalgia of flying the A380 before it retires for good. I would without doubt choose Singapore again if my itinerary allows, just because of the consistent and worry-free travel experience in the post-pandemic world of air travel, and most importantly having the phenomenal Singapore girls on board as opposed to, you know what I'm about to say about US carriers. It has been a pleasure and I can't wait for our next departure. Thank you for watching this Wandering Scholar video.
Welcome to New York, ladies and gentlemen.